3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
Ahoy, friends. It's me, Dave Landau. After a long night on stage, I like to kick back with a captain's hat and a fine cigar and watch the Dennis and Andy show. These guys are huge nerds, but they're the kind that you actually want to hang out with. Enjoy them. I do.
Ahoy, everyone. Hail, if you will. I just realized the mic was muted. You know, it's been a while. Anyhow, we are here, the Dennis and Andy Show. We're back doing a little movie review. We went and saw the Nicolas Cage movie last night. The title is so long, I even have to read it. The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. I know. You're thinking I'm describing myself.
Oh, I thought it was the show.
Our show. You thought you were describing our show, but no. It is the name of Nicolas Cage's new movie where obviously he stars in it and he plays himself.
Which is great. Cage plays Nicolas Cage. And he's down on his luck. He's having a rough time. He's staying at a hotel racking up bills. Obviously, he's gotten a divorce. Things are not going very well. He doesn't have a good relationship with his girl, his kid. And, you know, poor Nick just needs to land a role. He needs to get back onto the role. He's got to have this role that he really, really wants, a role of a lifetime.
And it's so funny because in the beginning of the movie, he goes to meet with this guy, a director, and they're walking out of their lunch meeting, and Nicolas Cage is like, I don't need to audition. And the guy's like, no, of course not. Nicolas Cage is like, but I will audition. He goes, no, you don't have to. He goes, I'll audition right now. And he has to do a Boston accent, so he busts out this audition.
He slams the guy's door and bursts out with a reading because he already had memorized it.
Yeah, it was.
It didn't go well.
It didn't go well for him. It is R-rated mostly because of language than anything else. I mean, there's some violence in it, you know, typical action movie violence.
Because, you know, in PG-13, you're allowed how many F-bombs?
1.
Yeah, and I think they covered that first couple in the first few minutes.
That's right. Another cool thing they did was Nick Cage interacts with himself, a vision of himself, younger Nick Cage. So it's so cool how they can de-age people because holy crap, this looked like the Nick Cage I was introduced to 30 years ago.
And he was kind of dressed like not Johnny Depp, James Dean. Kind of had that James Dean vibe, and he's like, got all this power, and he screams out his own name, Nicolas Cage.
Oh, Nicolas Cage! And the hairstyle he had, I'm pretty sure, was from a specific movie. I mean, maybe it was just the time period, and that's how he works. It looked very familiar, but man, it looked like it was from maybe Raising Arizona.
Raising Arizona. That's kind of what I was wondering.
I'm thinking if it's from.
But I don't know because I haven't seen it in quite a while. But they make references to a lot of his movies. Gone in 60 Seconds.
Yeah.
Con Air. I mean, a lot of his classics.
Well,
and the way they built it around. Right.
They showed, you know, he was flying somewhere and he's flipping through the channels and there's a movie of his. In the beginning of this movie, this young couple is watching Con Air. You know, the basic plot, if you've seen the trailer, is Pedro Pascal's character, Javi, offers Nick Cage $1 million to come spend a couple days with him. And you find out the whole reason is because, go figure, he wrote a screenplay and he wants to pitch it to Nick Cage,
who he wants to star in the movie that he wrote. But Neil Patrick Harris, who plays his agent, was supposed to have given Nicolas Cage the script, because he's down on his luck, he needs the $1 million because he's got debts to pay. So he winds up doing it. It feels a lot like, the plot reminds me a lot of Galaxy Quest, where Tim Allen took a side gig away from everybody else just because he, I just paying a few bills and stuff like that, only to realize it's going to launch him into a bigger adventure. This launches him into a bigger adventure because, as you find out in the trailer, maybe Javi Gutierrez, which is Pedro Pascal's guy, maybe he's a drug lord that the CIA is after. Only they really call it the U.S. government versus they specifically don't name him. But it's really cool because, and now they want Nick Cage to kind of spy for them on Javi. So the problem is, which you also find out, during the trailer, a bromance blossoms. Yeah. It's like they become best friends. They realize that they're just great, and they can't believe each other is on the opposite side. So what an interesting plot twist. And then everything ensues from there.
But here's the thing, and this is the nice thing about doing these short little pre-recorded videos. We can give you fair warning. So fair warning, we're going to talk spoilers now. So if you want to see the movie, I recommend it. I recommend you go see it. In fact, we'll give it our rating right now, and then we'll do spoilers. So if you want to bounce, because you don't want spoilers, you can. So our rating, I'm going to give it a nice 7.5. I thought it was really entertaining. I laughed a lot. It was very good. It was nice to see Nick Cage playing kind of there were times where it was a heightened version of himself, but then there were other times where it's like, no, I'm just, I'm Nick Cage. This is how I act.
Yep.
Or this is how I am. So I thought that was cool. But I'm giving it a 7.5. I thought it was a funny action comedy because that's what it was.
Yeah, I'm going with an 8.0. I thought it was quite enjoyable. It isn't one. It was funny. The entire movie is funny, but it's not lol. You're fisting, you're going la la la, screaming out loud, but it's chuckling through the whole thing. It laughs at itself and you laugh with it. The humor works. I actually didn't know if the humor would work, but the humor worked all the way through it. It was a really far exceeding my expectations of it. I was hoping it was going to be good, but honestly, you just didn't know, but it did. So 8.0, watch it. Little kids, like I said, not a lot of violence, but tons of swearing. Yeah. So it's rated R for a reason.
Yeah. And now, spoilers in 3, 2, 1. Bazing! If you don't want them, leave now. Okay. Here's my question to you, Dennis.
Yep.
So you find out. So the movie goes along. You see that the U.S. government wants Nick to help out because Javi's this drug lord and he kidnapped this teenage girl. Blah blah blah. And then, Javi comes around and says, no, it was my cousin. He's the real bad one. It wasn't me. I didn't do it. Trust me. And they go to save the girl. Then Nicolas Cage's wife, or estranged wife, and daughter show up. And the daughter, who's like 16, gets kidnapped as well. So Javi and Nick Cage are like, we're getting our kids back. And it ends up where, there's some gun battles, some fighting and stuff, a nice car chase. And it ends with the car chase ending up at the U.S. consulate, I guess, in whatever country they're in, Spain. I think. Yep. And then the camera cuts to Nick Cage, doing something with the bad guy. And then after he basically takes out the bad guy, we won't spoil how things are done, but the camera pans back around to where his wife and daughter were. And now they weren't just driving a crappy Jeep. It's a Hummer. And his wife is actually played by Demi Moore. And there's another actress that plays the daughter. And they're like, oh, you saved us. And they hug and all that. Then the camera kind of pulls back and you realize they're at a movie premiere in Hollywood. And the movie's over. Everybody's clapping, so on and so forth. So my question to you is, at what point in the movie we were watching did it cut over to the movie? So my question is, there was never the U.S. government. there was never him being a drug guy and all that. So you see what I'm saying?
Oh, you're saying
because the two there was never, in my mind, this is what I really want to talk to you about. And we didn't drive together to the movie last night. We drove separate. So we were waiting till today.
So you're thinking that the entire ending is part of the plot script.
I'm thinking the whole movie we saw from the moment Tiffany Haddish, who plays one of the CIA U.S. government agents, comes up to him. From that point on, it's all fake. Javi is not part of any of this stuff.
Ooh.
That's how I took it.
I didn't.
See, I took it that way, once again, spoilers, because Tiffany Haddish's character and her partner, CIA agent, both die in the movie. And I just don't think, I don't
But she say so they burst in and it's a trap. She's got a gun to her head. And she's talking to Nick. She goes, just get over here right now. And then they pan back, and you can see the bad guys has Vivian's a gun to her head. So she's being forced to do it. They've already killed the partner. And basically, she sees his second gun, stuck away. So she reaches down, grabs, and shoots it. No, because she shoots him.
That's right. It was a gun. You're right. You're right. Yeah.
And so she shoots him. You're thinking of the knife with the daughter.
Yeah.
Where which was really cool.
Which was total. When that happened, I'm like, oh, something's got to be up.
Right.
That was the first giveaway that I was like, no, I don't think so.
Because the daughter, this
is at the end of the movie.
Yeah, this is at the end of the movie. But so anyway, that whole thing with I actually took it that yes, I'll call them CIA agents, the U.S. government agents were killed. She dies by shooting the other guy. She gets shot, goes backwards. The one guy's still alive, and as soon as Nick Cage and the family opens the door, he's going to be like, bam, 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 knock him down. And all of a sudden, she's like, gets up, smashes the gun with one last breath, shoots him, winds up saving them. She dies, he dies, so the U.S. government agents die. And then
at some point, it kicked over because if I remember right, and guys, don't laugh, I saw it last night, but this is my memory. When Javi and his love interest, because they weren't married, start shooting at the bad guys, his cousin and stuff that are coming at him so Nick can get away, I thought they got killed.
He got shot. That is all you saw. And then the one, remember, there's 3 vehicles chasing.
Right.
He's sitting there with the 2 awesome gold-plated guns.
Face off.
Which you like, do. And she's sitting there going boom, 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 boom. And it's awesome. One car goes up onto the thing, flips over, smashes the other one. The other one, the bad cousin is out lean, boom, 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 shoots, hits Javi. He goes flying backwards. You see him go down, but you don't see anything that happens to her because she's diving out of the way. You see the one car come around because he avoids the other 2. So we don't see him die. We just see him get hit right here. So we'll call that a flesh wound.
Okay. I don't know. I still think 80% of what we saw was a movie. Like,
see, and I think go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, I think the whole thing was, I think that was the script maybe that the guy wrote and everything. Because when they finally showed the movie premiere in the end, everybody gets up to leave, and you can see Nick Cage wants to go with his estranged wife and kid because there's underlying issues with them that aren't resolved. And then Javi comes up and it's like, what did everybody think? I was too nervous to go in. And Nick was like, everybody loved it. They loved it. You should definitely go to the Vanity Fair after party, blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't know. I just don't think he'd be away scot-free like that.
So that brings up a point which will reinforce my position. I think this whole thing was real up until the very end. So at the very end, they pull into the consulate. This is all real. The agents, Nick Cage winds up dressing up as this other Spanish guy who was going to go into power because of his wife's a makeup artist. They both go in there. I actually think, and then Nick gets stabbed actually in the leg. So I think that's all real. That's all part of it. And at the consulate, when they go in there, the bad guy gets out there, holds him hostage, and that's when he gets stabbed. The daughter's in the back. There's a knife that was shown, so they set it up in the exposition earlier. The knife's there. The girl's like, hey, gives her the knife. Dad throws the knife, and that's where you all of a sudden you see it go, not just being thrown like if you would throw a knife, but it's Hollywood knife throwing. And then you hear all the sound effects end over end. At that moment, you see the camera panning with it. That's when it switches over, in my mind, to the script, because then Nick Cage catches it, boom, and then that's when it all cuts over into the scene. Now, but hold on. Okay. If none of this happened, and from what your point, his relationship with the daughter and wife would have never been repaired, because at the end he skips the premiere. So
skips the after party.
After party, because in Pedro Pascal's character, he goes, but in order to get character growth, he had to have gone through all of that trauma. The daughter sitting on there, he lets her pick the movie for the first time. He and the wife suddenly have a relationship again.
Yeah, but then what you're saying is, in the end, that in not the movie, but in real life, all that happened, and then at the very end, the daughter still tossed the knife that he caught and was able to stab the guy.
That might be
unless
the point
that
where
was the Hollywood ending.
That's the Hollywood ending. So
then we don't know actually how it happened.
Correct, because it could have been because all of the guards from the consulate are out there. One of them, all he had to do was step on him, knee him, somebody shoots him, something. But the Hollywood ending was when she's throwing the knife and you're seeing it turn around. That's when all of a sudden you could feel a shift in the air. And then when it, catch, stab, and there's Demi Moore.
Okay. I mean, I can see your point as well. I don't know. And I think maybe that was part of it too, is just discuss, like we're doing, different people's take on it. But I can totally see that point. I don't know. That's interesting.
So you guys, definitely this is a must-see movie. We already gave you it in the spoiler free part up front. Go see it. Leave your comments down below. Let us know what you think. Are one of us right? Or do you have another option, a different way that you think it turned out, something that we may have missed on our first showing?
Yeah. So there you go. That's our review. Once again, we gave it a 7.5. He gave it an 8. So pretty good score. If you like Nick Cage, I definitely highly, highly recommend checking this movie out.
It is a fun movie for you, your spouse, and most of your family, unless you have little kids. Make sure you smash the like and subscribe button. Share it to your friends. We love doing this. Catch us for our live streams.
That's right.
Hopefully,
hit that notification bell so you know
when we go live.
And until next time, bye, everybody.